It's a Venomization episode, and we're going to be venomizing 3 of the bad girls of Gotham. If you like this idea, smash the like button. Let me know in the comments below if there's any more DC supervillains you'd like to see venomized. I'm John, this is DempseyJ Illustrations, and let's bring these illustrations to life. While in space, Megatron and the Decepticons have captured a Clintar symbiote, aka Venom. However, on Earth, unbeknown to the Autobots and the majority of the world's population, more of the Clintar species were arriving, as if by some type of calling. Dr. Louise Lincoln, aka Killer Frost, was on a mission with the rest of the Suicide Squad members when she came across a strange organic creature in a lab they were stealing data from. Her curiosity and slightly twisted killer instinct got the best of her, and she decided that it would be a fun way to pass the boredom of the mission to freeze the strange creature before her. This would be her mistake. As she froze the container, the symbiote broke free, smashing through the glass and started to cover her and bond with her DNA. Killer Frost quickly decided to freeze the symbiote as it wrapped around her. At first, it appeared to be working, but as parts of the organism froze and crumbled off her, the creature began to become immune, or at least adapt and mimic her powers. And as quickly as Killer Frost was freezing the symbiote, it was unfreezing itself while continuing to merge with its new host. As the symbiote was merging with Killer Frost, she caught glimpses of its memory and could see that several more of these creatures, known as Clintars, have landed in Gotham from the meteor shower that happened a couple nights prior. Killer Frost wondered who else could have come across one of these strange creatures. Now, for this illustration, I wanted to do a few things I don't normally do. The first, I wanted to push myself with the character design and the colouring and the rendering. So I wanted to go back to a bit more of an anime style, which I haven't done in a while. And for the character design, I also thought it'd be a cool idea to give her a bit more of a seductive and alluring pose. So kind of put the hand and the fingers towards the mouth and the face and just put a bit side on. I also wanted to make the symbiote a bit more refined and sleeker to match with the feminine form of the character. So instead of the previous episodes where I've made the symbiote kind of like come out in more places and have more elements to it, wrapping and a bit more complex, I wanted to keep more of a kind of like a sleeker feel and just a few strands coming out. But I did add a bit of texture on top of the symbiote to make it kind of have a bit of a life of its own. I'm really pleased with how the Venomized version of Killer Frost came out, and the lighting and composition do help with that. I quite like the background, the blend from the cool blues to the warm colours where the light's coming from that help Killer Frost stand out a bit more. And I do like my choice of making the symbiote a blue colour to kind of like replicate the ice powers of Killer Frost. As we know, symbiotes can take on the abilities of the host they take over. So this symbiote will forever have the abilities of Killer Frost, aka freezing things and control over ice. I hope you enjoy how Killer Frost came out. Let me know in the comments below, and enjoy the rest of the process of bringing this illustration to life. While roaming Gotham Park and helping the plants and flora to grow, Poison Ivy spotted a meteor shower in the night sky above Gotham. As a fragment came crashing down to the far side of Gotham Park and caused a massive explosion, Ivy rushed over to that side, trying to save the local fauna that was being ravaged by flames and damaged by the crater left from the meteor's landing. After using her powers to put the flames out and help the flora regrow, Ivy went to the space rock that's left in the crater and decided to crush it in anger. She lifted her arm and a giant vine grew out of the ground. With a swing of her arm, the vine came crashing down on the meteor, smashing it to pieces. As Ivy walked over to see the smashed meteor, a black ooze-like substance shot out at her and started to stick all over her body, fusing with her DNA. Once the Clintar had fused fully with Poison Ivy, it turned from black to a reddish purple pinkish colour and seemed to be able to not only create an army of vines and living plants like Ivy could, but these creatures were also slightly mutated and kind of looked like symbiotes of their own. It appeared that part of the symbiote's DNA had fused with the local plant fauna through Ivy's powers. They also had the ability to shoot seeds that fused with living creatures and kind of turned them into remote controlled toys, as it were. Now for that, I kind of like Ivy's got the ability to set up pheromones to control men, so I thought it'd be quite cool with the symbiote being able to shoot seeds to control creatures. Now for this, I wanted to have Ivy in a type of seductive pose, and I haven't had much practice drawing characters in poses where they're sat down or led down. But I'm really pleased with how this came out. Again, the symbiote is to have a smooth and kind of like, almost like a silky effect to it, but as well as the texture. And I think the painting style works well that I'm doing at the moment. It kind of has a nice contrast to that of Killer Frost with the more warmer colours and sort of like the warm plant background. But I did want to incorporate some of the blues and purples in because it gives a nice contrast between the plant that Ivy sat on and the actual Venom symbiote or Clintar symbiote's purpley red colours. And I think it works well for the colour designs. And it's a nice contrast, and you'll see later on in the video when they're side by side, they help stand out quite well. But I hope you guys enjoy how Poison Ivy Venomized turned out. Now, the last DC bad girl that we're venomizing had to be Harley Quinn. Dr. Harleen Quinzel, aka Harley Quinn, the clown princess of crime, was out causing mischief and mayhem with her beloved baseball bat while on an errand for the Joker, Mr. J. When she saw the meteor shower in the sky, ooh, she thought, I really shouldn't, as Mr. J wants me to do this errand. But those look awfully nice. Ah, what the hell, she said. What Mr. J don't know won't hurt him. With that, Harley decided she would climb to the rooftop to get a better view of the meteors in the night sky above Gotham. As she started to stare at the meteors and she followed one going overhead, she looked behind her to watch them hurtling through the sky. Suddenly, a loud crackling noise like a fireplace could be heard getting louder and louder. Harley turned around and saw one of the meteors heading right at her. Ah, geez, Mr. J ain't going to be happy. And with that, the meteor slammed into Harley, sending her flying along with it into the buildings behind her, with a massive bang and a shockwave that brought down the building. The next thing Harley knew was she was standing unharmed beside the destroyed building, covered in a strange organic outfit. Though to Harley, she thought nothing of it. And as it changed back into her normal crazy self, she picked up a baseball bat and merely skipped away to finish a task for Mr. J. Now, I wanted to kind of do a story that kind of met with Harley's crazy personality. She hangs around with the Joker and she's up to mischief and chaotic antics all the time. So I thought, a symbiote on her is not really going to phase her for more than a few seconds and she'll just continue as normal. And suddenly pull the symbiote out at some point later on, and I'll work that into the story and it'll just be a bit comical and classic Harley. I also wanted to do the design more from Suicide Squad on this than the original Harley Quinn design. I just think the contrast of colours are a lot better and it'll be a lot more fun for the symbiote style to merge with the more recent Suicide Squad movie version of Harley. And I had to do her in her newly iconic Daddy's Little Monster outfit with a baseball bat. And it was hard because I did like the mallet and hammer from the classic version, but I thought the baseball bat would be more appropriate. I wanted to do a bit more of a, kind of like a striking, but more of a powerful yet slightly dynamic pose with her. Again, you'll see the illustration, I wanted to keep the style consistent. So it's a bit of an anime style and it's a bit of a painting style. So it will have this quite nice textured effect to it. The process is different to my normal process. And if any of you guys want me to do a more in-depth video on how I did the process for the colors on these characters, let me know in the comments below. And again, I wanted to show a bit more of the feminine side of symbiote. I've kind of, even though I've used them with like Raven and Starfire before, I didn't really emphasize the character a bit more. And with these illustrations where they're solely a character, I want to kind of push myself a bit more, but at the same time, make them appealing and give a bit more life to them. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy how Harley Quinn turns out. There you have it. Hope you enjoyed the process of bringing these DC villainesses into the Venom universe. If you did, let me know in the comments below. Smash the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to update videos as they come out. Remember, stay safe everybody. I'll catch you next time.